just a quick intro into what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to really hone in on how to unlock profit specifically at in-bay washes through the use of mobile apps. So we'll really dive into a lot of capabilities that mobile apps have and bring to the in-bay space in particular that have been maybe a little bit challenging in the past. And while you're all getting settled here, we're going to launch a poll just to get to know you guys a little bit better and what your current car wash setup is. So let us know, maybe you're a single in-bay user, maybe you have a tunnel and an in-bay, maybe you're new to the industry. So let us know in the poll here, which best matches you. So we kind of get a feel for who's in the conversation today. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to give a little intro into our discussion today. So in-bays are fantastic at driving profit. So they're a great profit opportunity, as I'm sure most of you are aware if you're already in the in-bay space. Things like, not having to have a lot of labor at the wash, they're high margin. There's a lot of really great things about in-bays. There are also some, challenges that are unique to in-bays that come with those benefits. So one of those is the fact that in-bays are typically unmanned. So that can make, certain sales aspects a little bit challenging or different than other car wash areas. And then capacity, of course, is, very different from the tunnel world. Capacity limitations can maybe has in the past prevented you from being able to sell certain things like memberships, for example. So these unique things about in-bays are really where we see mobile apps being a great fit. We'll talk about, what features and functionalities mobile apps bring to the table that can address some of those unique challenges and really uncover revenue opportunities that maybe you haven't had in the past at your in-bay wash. And then we'll also dive into Beacon Mobile. So Beacon Mobile is DRB's mobile application. So we'll, toward the end, kind of get into some specifics on, our mobile app product and, what it offers specifically for the in-bay space. And then we'll kind of start here with a little bit more of a broad overview. And next slide, thank you. So while we're getting settled here, quick housekeeping item. If you just take note of the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen there, that's where we'll capture all of your questions. So please, we'd love to hear questions as we go along. Oh, and we got our poll back. Okay, so we're looking at mainly standalone in-bays, some tunnel and in-bay, some C-store. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for filling that out. Okay, so back to the Q&A. So go ahead and put questions in that Q&A box as we go along. We'll save some time at the end to cover some questions. We may not have a chance to get through all of them just because time today. So we always email afterward. We'll send you both a recording of the webinar so you don't have to furiously try to take notes here. And we will also send you answers to all of the questions so you get kind of a recap there. And then if you have any technical questions or issues as we go ahead and pop those in the Q&A as well. And we have a team here to help. Okay, so moving along, let's do some intros from our speakers here, and then we'll dive into our discussion today. I'm Kayla Ivey, Manager of Product Marketing at DRB, and really my experience in the car wash industry, I've been in the industry for about 6.5 years now. And my experience has been mainly on the car wash marketing side of things. So a lot of that has looked like partnering with car wash owners and helping understand their revenue goals and membership goals and helping them drive that growth. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to bring to our discussion today.
Thanks, Kayla. Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Amira. I am the Director of Product Management overseeing applications So Beacon Mobile is one of the applications that I work on, and I have been with the company for just under 3 years and have an integrated marketing background, but have spent the past 3 years really kind of working diligently on marketing applications and development of marketing capabilities across various POS systems in the DRB portfolio.
Yeah, and I'm Brian Gervaglia, Director of Product Management for InBase Solutions for DRB. I've been with DRB now for about 5 years, but all in, I've got about 12 years experience in the car wash space with pretty much all of that experience coming specific to the InBase segment and looking at, marketing and how to grow revenue and, really how to build loyalty inside InBay automatic car washes. So, I guess we'll get started here. And the first thing that we want to ask, and the question you're probably asking yourselves is, do I even need an app? My business does just fine without one. What's the point? And I would counter that and challenge that by saying what we really need to ask ourselves is, how much is an app worth to a business? What I would look at here is we're going to take a look at a case study. And for this specific case study, the answer is $6.4 billion. That's billion with a B. So what I want to do is take a look at Starbucks for us and look at that as a case study and what an app means to a business or what it can mean to a business. Now, why Starbucks and how is coffee relevant to car wash? That's a great question. Coffee it's a generic product. You can make it home easily. If you'd rather buy it, there's plenty of options out there to go and get it. You can go to McDonald's, you can go to Dunkin', you can go to, if there's a Joe to Go or any of the other numerous places out there, there's plenty of options to go and get it. That should sound familiar to a lot of you. You can wash your car at home if you want. If you want to go out and get it washed somewhere else, there's plenty of options where you can go and get that done. So when we look at this, coffee is actually a pretty strong comparator to car wash. And when we look at Starbucks specifically by the numbers, the growth that they have seen is just absolutely phenomenal. Over 5 years, they've had over 400% growth in engagement and app sales. Between 21 and 22 alone, they grew 20%. That is a massive, massive growth number in any business. And that should be getting you guys as wash operators excited about what could 20% growth mean to you guys and to your business. 20% additional revenue. What does that look like? We start talking about customer engagement and what Starbucks does with their app. They've got 10 million active users with that app, and they're currently doing over 5 million weekly transactions. So think about that for a minute. If everyone who has the Starbucks app is using it once a week, that's 50% customer engagement from their user base every single week. 50% of their user base is engaging with them every single week. That's just incredible customer engagement. And that's loyalty. That is building loyalty to that brand. And then you start looking at the tech piece of it and where are we going? 31% of their consumers are using their app to pay. So that's no cash, no credit at the register. It's an all digital transaction, digital payment. As a wash operator, that kind of gives you some idea and indication of where this industry is going, where the tech space is going. Cashless payments are already way up, and it's going to continue to trend away from credit cards and into digital spaces. And as a wash operator, if you're not messing around with cash or, all the challenges and pains that come with EMV credit card readers, how much easier does that make your life? And then the last piece of this is a quarter of their users, 26% of their users use the app to place the order. So for that chunk of their user base, the entire consumer experience is digital for them. They order on the app, they pay for it on the app. All they have to do that's physical and in interaction with the person at Starbucks is to pick up the drink. So, at this point, we have officially entered a digital age of consumer behavior. Now, when we try to transition this over to the InBay Automatic and why are InBay Automatic washes specifically uniquely positioned to jump on this app bandwagon? First, there's all the stuff you guys already know, and Kayla talked about it a little bit, with InBays and they cost less to build, less to own, less to maintain, less labor, all that stuff. But it's the labor piece specifically that makes the in-bay automatic wash such a prime target and premier avenue for an app. In-bay customers are already used to interfacing with a touchscreen device to make their selections and present their payment. You know, they're moving and moving those customers from rolling down the window to do that interaction to just doing it on their phone is a very simple transition. You're not really asking them to change their consumer behavior. You're just asking them to make a slight adjustment to it. And for most people, especially if you're in northern climates, you know, doing a windows up transaction on their phone in the dead of winter, it's probably a pretty attractive proposition for many of those customers. Excuse me. You know, it's already established that people who don't pay with cash and are using, you know, digital or card payment methods are far more likely to make impulse buys. And, you know, at this point in the industry, cashless payments at in-bay washes are hovering around 70%. So you figure 7 out of every 10 transactions are coming without cash. Just for that alone, that piece of it, I mean, 70% cashless and the fact that people who don't pay cash buy more, you guys should already be taking full advantage of all the buy ups and extra service add-ons, all those things that you can do at your wash using your entry unit. You know, going above and beyond with an app is just going to be the icing on the cake. As generations age, and this is something we talk about with consumer behavior, the shift to tech-based offerings is not only expected, it's becoming demanded at this point. Millennials are already fully into adulthood, they're in the workforce, and coming in hot right behind them is Gen Z. You know, the young Gen Z, the youngest members of Gen Z are still in school, but the oldest members are into their 20s now. And these are two generations who grew up with technology and embrace it as a part of their everyday life. As the boomer group ages, the expectation that you cater to a digital consumer experience for those millennials and Gen Z is only going to grow, and it's going to grow exponentially. And when we start talking about apps and where are we going, you know, apps have existed for a long time now, but apps in the car wash space are still relatively new. And it's always better to be on the leading edge of new offerings than, you know, trying to play catch up. You know, we go back to our case study when we're looking at Starbucks. They're not the only coffee company with an app, but they were the first, and they're the biggest, and they're the best, and everyone remembers who was first, who was the biggest, who's the best. So for us as wash operators, there's money out there for us to go and grab in the digital space. And, you know, we just need to make sure we're positioning our businesses to take advantage of the new revenue streams that are coming up as they appear in the market. And, you know, the primary one for us right now is it's going to be an app and driving that digital consumer experience. Now, for more on how a mobile app specifically can improve your profit margins and your profits at your washes, I'll give it over to Kayla.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, so we'll get into a few. I have 4 kind of specific points I want to cover on how a mobile app can actually drive profits, you know, specific to in-bays. So we're kind of taking it back to car wash and your in-bay right now. So the current situation that, you know, most likely you're experiencing right now is probably almost like doing business with a blindfold on. Like, you might not have a lot of insight into who your car wash customers are. So, you know, maybe they come on site, purchase a car wash, leave. You have no idea, you know, have they ever been here before? Are they ever going to come back? Who is that person? What's their name? What's their email? Can I reach out to them and, you know, try to influence them to come back again? So historically, that's kind of been the car wash world, and really the in-bay world in particular is probably experiencing something, you know, similar to that. So part of what we'll talk about here with mobile apps and what they bring to the table is really you're just going to have that ability to connect with your customer. So you're going to, you know, be providing them a better experience because they can, you know, make a purchase and easily redeem things on site. It's a great experience for them digitally. And then you also have that capability to now interact with that person way beyond the car wash transaction. And that's going to be huge for driving profit that we haven't been able to do before. Thanks, Kelly. So building recurring revenue is our first topic that we'll cover here. So one of the major things that we've all seen happen over the last few years is express car washes have blown up. And, one of the key elements there is the ability to, drive recurring revenue with the membership stream that they offer. So in the in-bay space, this is obviously different. So in, the tunnel world, I'm sure everyone knows this, but just in case, in the tunnel world, RFID technology and license plate recognition is kind of how that membership is recognized and triggered. In the in-bay space, obviously this is a challenge. So, putting on an RFID sticker on the car, how do you do that if you don't have a person working there? And then, capacity is an issue because you don't necessarily want someone coming, every day for an unlimited membership, and creating like a capacity issue and, a giant line where now you're not having, a great customer experience there because people are waiting in line for so long. So all of those things to be said about, why recurring revenue maybe has been a missed opportunity in the past for in-bays is now completely different with mobile apps. So this is probably the biggest revenue driver right here is the ability to now offer recurring revenue through memberships in a very seamless way that we haven't been able to before at in-bays. So one aspect here is your customer can buy a membership and redeem it on site with no RFID technology, no license plate recognition investment. You can do it all through the app. So that's huge. We'll talk a little bit more about, how that works, what that means in a little bit here. But that's probably the number one factor right there. It opens up that ability for them to purchase and redeem. With mobile apps as well, they can manage their membership. So you're not having to have, a labor component there to try to manage membership cancellations or membership, members wanting to update their credit card or change their plan, anything like that. Like they can do it all within the comfort of their home or wherever's convenient on their phone. So, that aspect as well is huge for an in-bay where you might not have a person working there to help members, through those different things that they're wanting to do with their plan. And then lastly, the capacity challenge that we talked about. So one interesting thing here, an important thing that mobile apps allow you to do when it comes to memberships is limit the capacity of the membership. So it doesn't need to be an unlimited membership. It doesn't need to be, wash every single day for one monthly fee. It can be whatever you want it to be. So it can be, our membership is you get 6 washes in a month, whatever makes sense for your business. But I think that's a key element too, is the ability to tailor membership to what makes sense in your particular business and in the in-bay space in general is huge, because it now all of those things combined bring to the table this really seamless way to offer membership and build recurring revenue in a way that's actually, doable and makes sense in the in-bay space. Next one here is the ability to increase customer loyalty. So kind of going back to what we were talking about a minute ago with maybe you didn't have an idea of who your customers are currently, or the ability to reach out and, connect with them to get them to come back. That's kind of what we're talking about here with loyalty. So mobile apps obviously offer that loyalty program component where you can build up points, give your customers rewards. So one major thing we're trying to do here to actually drive that loyalty is increase frequency. So we're just trying to get that customer to purchase, more times than they would have if they were not an app member. And part of that, kind of taking it out of car wash, again, a study at MIT talked about how basically members of loyalty programs that are high functioning in general, just in the consumer world as a whole, those customers are twice as likely to increase their frequency of purchase. So if we take it back to car wash, retail car wash users generally wash about 3 times in a year. So if we think about, can we get that person to wash even just one more time? That's a huge, huge revenue opportunity when you multiply that out across your entire business. And so how do we do that? We need to be able to obviously interact with them, communicate with them through that app. We also can send them rewards. So the rewards program is going to be very beneficial here. Also, just even being able to like nudge them. So we've found, through different marketing tactics, it's not always necessary to do a reward, but that can definitely help. But even just the ability to like send a push notification and really connect with that customer to keep your brand top of mind can even influence frequency on its own. And then in addition to frequency, the ability to retain customers longer. So if you were to introduce a membership program, or maybe you have something kind of started, you'll want to really have a proactive approach to retaining those members and those customers. So things like being able to thank someone through the app whenever they've become a member. So being able to, message them and being able to offer them rewards for the length of membership. Thank you for being a member for 6 months or a year. Here's X, Y, or Z reward. So that, this loyalty aspect of mobile apps opens up a huge opportunity here with being able to drive loyalty that is new to this space. All right. And then customer engagement. So I want to kind of dive into what we mean with this term, because I think it's a term that kind of gets thrown around a lot. But customer engagement is really creating a relationship with your customer that goes way beyond the transaction. So if your current situation is something like, a car wash drives up to the wash, makes a purchase, leaves, and you might not have the ability or a chance to interact with them much once they leave your site, then their interaction really is limited to that transaction. So we want to build that relationship and that interaction way beyond just their point of purchase. So historically, this has been obviously a challenge in the in-base space because there's, not a person standing there to create an engaged customer on site. And then once they leave, you don't really have that ability to connect with them. And so, And so the mobile app here is going to open up the capability to drive this engagement, because you can continue to connect and engage with that customer after they leave. So a few ways that we can do this are through being able to send them push notifications, being able to send them deals. So they're, we're creating value for them by being able to connect with them through that app. And then even just them being a part of that app is, you're going to have that presence for them that you wouldn't necessarily have otherwise if they're just making a transactional purchase. And then last thing I'll hit on this one is gamification. So one way that we found customers really love to engage with is through games. So offering something like a game within an app can be a great way to keep that customer coming back to the app, keep them kind of entertained and interested, and even just building up like a positive association with your brand that has absolutely nothing to do with the purchase. So these things are all driving toward that engagement, which are going to lead to profit. And then last piece I'll hit on in terms of how mobile apps can boost profits for in-base is boosting other profit centers. So if some of you in the poll said that you have a gas station or C-store or even a tunnel. And so the unique thing here that mobile apps bring to the table is you can now connect all of your business units under one platform. And what that allows you to do is drive revenue and drive loyalty across your entire business. So just a couple ideas here to kind of get the gears turning. So, there could be something like a car wash membership that then has a gas discount or something like that as one of the additional, benefits to being a member. Or the loyalty program that we talked about, maybe that's a loyalty program across your gas station and C-store and car wash, and you're building up points no matter where you're shopping across the business. And then you can redeem those points at, any of these. And so those are just really like the tip of the iceberg. There's a ton of potential here and opportunity, but it's really the mobile app is bringing the opportunity to look at these comprehensively and make sure that you're using each of your individual business units to drive profit across the board at your entire company.
Okay, great. So Kayla just gave a very high level overview of the benefits that a mobile app can provide for your car wash. And I'm going to get into the more specifics for what Beacon Mobile offers and also give some visuals to that to help really kind of bring it to life. So at a very high level, Beacon Mobile is the most robust mobile platform that we have within the DRB ecosystem. And essentially, it's a branded native mobile app for your car wash that's developed for both iOS and Android. So everything is under your name, nothing to do with Beacon, nothing to do with DRB. Everything is, under your specific branding. So it's very clear to the customer who they're looking for and what they're getting in the mobile app store. As Kayla mentioned, membership signup and management is a huge benefit of having a mobile app. So never having to speak to an attendant, being able to change your credit card information, manage the vehicle data, as well as being able to change memberships is a huge benefit that this provides for your customers. Through automated churn prevention, we can message the customers before they churn. So if we think that they're likely to churn or if their credit card is declined, we can send them a message directly and get them to update that information. So it's another great benefit of having a mobile app. So e-commerce is another one that Kayla touched upon, but being able to sell memberships, single washes, prepaid washes, wash books, all different gift cards, and all retail items as well from a C-store capability is a huge benefit, all managed directly through the app. And all of this is completely managed and configured by you on the customer admin portal. So all of these elements can be tweaked or changed depending on if your services change or you have a new product offering that you want to include. You can manage that directly into the portal. So it's a really easy user experience for both you and the end user. Kayla touched upon loyalty. I also wanted to talk about referral programs as well. So having a loyalty program that's for both single wash and memberships is another great element of the app, as well as a referral program that gives a reward to both the referral and the referee so that there's a benefit on both ends of that transaction. Automated and targeted push notifications. So being able to message your customer directly through that portal, craft that message, set it up based on segmentation and filtering, set it up to schedule in advance, as well as send out broadcast notifications to your whole user base. Very easy to communicate with your customers. Gamification, another element that Kayla mentioned, and we'll dive into that a little bit more, another way to just drive that engagement and have a unique offering in your mobile app that many other mobile apps just don't have at all. And fleet management, I didn't want to miss this one. This is one that we hear a lot from customers that they really want to have a strong fleet management capability, but they just don't know how to do it and it feels too cumbersome for them to manage. So we have a very, very strong fleet management capability within the mobile app, and it allows you to manage all of those vehicles directly on your site so that it's a very easy process for both you and the fleet that is being included. And then really strong analytics and reporting. Oops, sorry, just go back one. Really strong analytics and reporting. So being able to see what that return is on your offering, seeing how much time people are spending in the app, what the loyalty program looks like for your users, how many points are customers getting? Do you want to make some changes there? There is a ton of reporting and charts that's available all in the admin portal. So right at your fingertips. And we also build custom reports for clients all the time, depending on what their needs are. So really being able to see that return is hugely beneficial. Go ahead, Kelly. So just to kind of give a little bit more light on membership management. So, this is one thing where the customer can do this at home or on site, and they're inputting their vehicle data information and all of their contact information. So when they sign up in the app, they're giving their email. When they sign up for a membership, they have to put in their vehicle information, as you know, and their credit card information. So this is a really great data capture all through the phone, no involvement from an employee. They can seamlessly change plans and they can cancel plans. And that's something that, you know, we've heard from customers, hey, I really don't have somebody that's going to pick up the phone if a customer wants to change or cancel their plan. That can all be done directly through the app, and it's a very frictionless process. So really making this, you know, a very easy way for both the user to enroll and manage their membership, as well as really easy management on your end as well, requiring very little effort from on-site. Go ahead, Kel. The loyalty program. So just want to touch upon what this looks like a little bit more. So this is set up as an architecture that's for both retail and memberships. So you can set a rewards program to earn points if they're buying single washes or physical retail items, where they are earning points that are equated to dollars. So, you know, $200 can equal a $15 free wash that they're receiving, and then they redeem it directly through the app, and then they scan that up upon pulling up to the site. So really able to just continue to drive those incentives, those rewards, and showing the customer very clearly in their phone where they stand in that rewards point accrual. So really just making it another incentive for them to continue to keep purchasing and keep washing. From a membership side, we are able to have an architecture in which you buy a membership, and the more you wash, the more you can basically level up. And as customers level up, they can earn rewards and kind of benefits based on, you know, getting to the next level in that membership. So really able to incentivize on both ends of the spectrum here, which is something that we hear a lot from customers about wanting that loyalty program, but don't know how to put it in motion. And this is completely configurable and customizable. So it's a great way to really kind of boost that loyalty from your customers. Like I said, it's also very easily trackable, and you can redeem for both services and physical items on site. And then just here on gamification. So this is a completely custom branded game where you can earn points within the game. So as they're playing, they can earn points that they can redeem then at the wash. So you don't have to have it be tied to the wash, like Kayla said, but you can. And it's another great way to drive that positive brand sentiment and that brand engagement and recall. We've even heard from customers that they've truly seen customers in the grocery store, in their app, playing their game. So just a really kind of nice way to know that they are engaging with their car wash when they are not even thinking about making a purchase or at the site. They are just spending time in the app, having fun on that game. So any time that is spent in your app is a customer associating that positive brand sentiment. So this is just another way to continue to drive app usage and, you know, continue to drive that positive thinking about your brand. And lastly, targeted communication. So push notifications are a great way to message your customers. We hear from IBA customers all the time that they don't have the contact information for their customers. They don't know how to message them. They don't know how to engage with them. Push notifications are all completely configured in the admin portal. So you can manage those. You can filter them based on specific customer segments. You can schedule them. You can even geofence them. So when a customer gets within a certain proximity to your site, it can trigger a push notification. You can even customize it so that it has the customer's name, as you can see here. Welcome back, John. So really tying that personalization into the communication with your customers. And this is a great way to continue that engagement, even if it's not with a specific incentive, but reminding a customer to wash, for example. We know that customers who don't use their memberships are more likely to churn. So if you have a segment who is part of a membership program, but they haven't washed in 30 days, that's a good way to message them to remind them to come in and wash. So these are just really easy ways where you can continue to communicate with your customers and do that in both a broadcast and targeted way. So just really strong communication tactic there. So what are really the big key takeaways that we've talked about today? Driving revenue through membership, C-store, and retail purchases without ever talking to an employee. So how do we make this as low as a lift for you as possible? This is a really, really easy way to do that. Continuing to boost brand engagement, loyalty, and positive customer experience. Again, these apps make it very easy for users to manage memberships, to make purchases, to send in feedback, to share with a friend, earn those referral rewards. So just really positive brand experiences for your customers. and another way to communicate with your customers. So we know that it's difficult to make the time. We know it's difficult to get that data. When you have a mobile app, the customer has to put in that information. It is not something that is difficult for them, because upon downloading an app, they're expecting that they have to take that action. So being able to communicate with them via push notification and acquiring those emails so that you can contact them as well, another strong way to continue kind of that conversation with your customers and really manage your customers directly and boost that positive brand engagement.
Awesome. So we'll get into a few questions here. If you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A button there. We've got a few here we can get started with. Are the loyalty club offerings preset, or can I customize them to whatever I want?
So I can take that one. Sorry, Kayla, I just jumped right in. But, from a loyalty architecture standpoint, nothing is preset. You have complete control over how you want to manage that. And it is completely customizable. So if you want to change the program, if you want to add new elements into the program in which a customer can receive rewards for, that is absolutely doable. When we create the account for testing before your app goes live, we do typically pre-populate that loyalty program with a few offers so that you can see how it works. It really kind of gives it more of a feel, and it makes it more tangible so that you kind of have something to start off of, but nothing is predetermined for you, completely customized. And again, that can be done all through the portal and changed at any time.
Awesome. Allie, this one's for you as well, I think. So how does my customer redeem their membership on site?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So Beacon is POS agnostic, so it can work at any point of sale system within the industry. And we actually do have users. We have thousands of sites in the United States, as well as Canada, Europe, and all the way to New Zealand. So that can kind of show you the breadth of our kind of footprint across the globe. But essentially, it can vary depending on the hardware that you have, but if you do have the Director software, we do have a really easy integration in which a customer essentially scans the QR code on the kiosk, and that triggers for the redemption of the wash. So depends on the hardware, but essentially it's a very easy, customer pulls up, logs in on their app, and scans the QR code to redeem.
Perfect. Let's see here. How likely do we think car wash users will be to want to download an app?
So yeah, I will take this one also. So I have been working within the app space at DRB for, like I said, just about 3 years now, and I have seen tremendous growth and adoption rate for mobile apps. Like Brian said in the beginning, we absolutely know that this is becoming not just an expectation for users, but a demand, because it makes end users' lives so much easier for managing their kind of retail purchases. So essentially, the best way to get a user to download the app is to incentivize them, either an in-app promo or a free wash upon download. But once you come out with that messaging and really are able to articulate that benefit, which is a very easy and clear offering that you can put out there, you will see customers downloading very quickly. So one little incentive, and it really kind of drives that download right away, as well as messaging. The membership management is a very, very easy way to get customers to download the app. So I have seen customers generate $1 million in revenue with only a few sites on app purchases alone, because they have been able to communicate it clearly and efficiently. And that doesn't mean it has to be communicated by a person. It can be communicated via signage. It can be communicated on site. It can be communicated on your Facebook page, on your website. There's very easy ways in which you can communicate the benefits of the app, and that really drive those downloads.
Yeah, and then I would just you hit on this, but just reiterating, I think like it's a benefit to the customer to be able to manage their own, membership or whatever it is that they are purchasing, because I know I'm a car wash member and they don't have anything like this, and it's very cumbersome to have to like go on site and try to manage it that way. So it's almost like it's really more beneficial to the customer than anything. Yeah, so Allie, I think those were really good points. If you message it right, it shouldn't be too difficult there. And I think people are so used to having apps for everything that they have a membership for now. It's shouldn't be too much of a hurdle there. We will do a couple more questions here and then we're gonna wrap up here shortly. If we want to go to the QR code here, just in case anyone wants a deeper dive into this, if you want a demo, go ahead and scan the QR code here and you can fill that out as we're kind of wrapping up here if you're interested in hearing any more. And like I said, we'll follow up after this as well with the recording and answers to any questions that we won't get to, because I don't think we're going to quite get through them all here. Let's see. Does the Beacon app work for other types of washes? For example, if I have both in-bay and express?
Yes, that's also a really good question. We have lots of customers who have multiple sites or different lanes depending on what that offering is, and the app works across all of them. So again, POS agnostic, but with specific DRB POS systems, stronger integrations, but absolutely very easily works across all different sites and types of sites.
Awesome. And then this one kind of goes hand in hand with that. Can the app work with multiple locations? Can you offer different things at different locations?
Yep. So just to kind of expand upon that one as well. So we absolutely have customers with dozens, if not hundreds of locations. So essentially what happens is that the customer has to select their location upon downloading the app, and the offerings that they receive are based on the location that they selected. They also need to physically check into the app upon pulling up to the site. So that will ensure that they are redeeming the appropriate service at the right place. So we do have kind of specific ways to ensure that there's no confusion about what location they're at and what services they're redeeming or can purchase. But absolutely multiple locations is almost standard for many of the Beacon app customers.
Perfect. Okay, I think we're gonna call it there just to let everyone get a few minutes back in your day, and we're gonna follow up. There's some questions I know that didn't quite get answered, so we'll send an email to everyone here shortly and follow up with all of the answers, the recording, and just thank you guys again so much for taking the time out of your day to learn about Beacon, learn about some of the really awesome things that you can do with a mobile app at your in-bay wash. Thank you so much.